Hey everybody, it's Paul from Screenwriting Software Expert. Here today, we're going to take a look at the domestic returns from this last weekend. We're going to look at the top 10. And the reason why we're going to do this as a screenwriter is going to allow us to see what audience are looking for or what audiences are interested in. And it sort of helps us figure out what we need to do for our own screenplays. What are those things that people are interested in if we're looking for ideas? So let's just look at the top 10 films from this past weekend. So let's take a look at the top 10 and see where we're at. So we see Brian and Charles has a gross of $198,000. This is its opening weekend. We see Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which has been out for 11 weeks now and has a respectable $190 million. We see Downton Abbey. Again, it's only been out for about 5 weeks. It's not too bad, $42 million. Everything Everywhere All at Once, out for 13 weeks. This has sort of been like a sleeper hit. It's made $64 million, which, especially for A24 Studios, I think is a really good grossing for them. The Bad Guys, again, a cartoon movie that's been out for 9 weeks. That's $94 million. The Bob Burgers movies, again, $29 million, been out for 4 weeks. Not so hot. I would think this would get a little bit more than what it has been. Doctor Strange, which was one of the movies that kicked off this summer, has been out for 7 weeks now. It has a total of $405 million. Top Gun Maverick, which has only been out 4 weeks and actually has more money than Doctor Strange in the Multi-Universe of Madness. Top Gun Maverick has $466 million. Lightyear, which is a movie I saw this week, has a really, I think, a pretty respectable weekend of $51 million. And Jurassic World, which has been out for 2 weekends, has grossed a total of $249 million, which is on pace to probably take care of, get back to close to where Maverick is at right now. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of good movies coming out. So as we look at all these different movies, let's take a look and see what sort of trends that we have here. So if we take a look at the top 10 movies, we see a lot of them are, so a lot of these movies are derivatives, and so you see, or sequels, or prequels, or whatever else you want to say it, or they relate to a different property. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that's a sequel to another movie that has been out. Downton Abbey, again, that's from a PBS hit series. The only one that's, if you get to number 7, this is really a new type of property, Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's not a TV series or current movies on that. The Bad Guys, again, there's not, it's another animated movie. It's not a new, it's a new property. It's not one that has been done in the past. Bob Burgers movie, again, that's based on a popular cartoon, which is made by 20th Century Studios, and so you're having people who are associated with that know that. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, again, that's an MCU movie, so you have the MCU, so it's taking, people know it from that property. Top Gun Maverick is actually a sequel. And it's actually doing fairly well for a sequel, and I've heard a lot of good things. I haven't seen it yet, really want to see it. Heard a lot of positive reviews about it. Interested to see how their take on a sequel is. Then we have Lightyear, which is, again, if you know any of the Toy Story movies, it's sort of the movie that Buzz Lightyear is based on, that the reason why Andy bought this toy was because of that. And then you have Jurassic World Dominion, which is a movie, again, based on Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. It's I believe the 6th movie in that particular franchise, and hopefully the last movie, because I've heard it is really bad. So, but these are what audience are looking at. So as we look and as we delve into what sort of the trends, so we're seeing at this part in the market on the June 17th to June 19th, so the early part of summer, we're seeing a lot of kids movies. We're seeing sort of Sonic the Hedgehogs, Bad Guys, again, it is a animation movie. Bob's Burgers movie, that could be debated whether that is a kids movie or not, because it's animation. It's got a lot of adult themes, so probably not, but again, it's an animation type movie. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, again, that's a comic book style movie. Again, it might not be appropriate for kids, but you sort of see it sort of hitting that demographic. Again, Lightyear, this one is more hit for kids, then I'd say with Sonic the Hedgehog as well as The Bad Guys, these 3 movies are definitely kids movies. And so you can see that in the top 10 movies, we have 3 movies that are are designed for kids. We see your summer blockbusters, summer popcorn type movies. We see those in Jurassic World, Top Gun, Doctor Strange in the Multi-Universe, maybe Everywhere All at Once. This one doesn't really fall into a good category right here. Neither that does Downton Abbey. These 2 are sort of outliers when it comes to that. This one here is probably designed for the people who like Downton Abbey and the previous movie as well too. I did enjoy the previous movie when I saw it. I haven't seen this one as of yet. So as we think of all these different things for the box office, as you think about the movies that you are thinking of doing, a lot of it, as you can see, a lot of it is derivative. You need to know a previous IP project. So you have to be very good at your story and at your craft, because it looks like, as of right now, Hollywood has settled into this dynamic of always going to sequels, of always going to something with some other type of intellectual property, because people recognize it, people will go to it. It's got a built-in audience, and you can see from the returns here what happens with these type of movies that do have this, that are types of movies that have some previous type of product. Because if we look at some of the other things down the line, we do see stuff like Firestarter, which was based on a novel, Stephen King novel. That didn't do very good. It's been out for 6 weeks, only made $9 million. The Lost City, it's not been bad, about $105 million. Crimes of the Future, just $2 million. Watcher. So we don't know what these movies are. These aren't attached to Crimes of the Future. Is not something that people know about. The Watcher, again, no one knows about. So that's the reason why people don't know that, so people aren't going to that. Plus, I would argue too, there's not a lot of good advertising for these, and so you can sort of see with the movies on the bottom end of the spectrum that there's not a lot of advertising with them, and they're not products that have some type of derivative property associated with them, and you can see why they fall out of the top 10 very easily. So that's sort of what we're up against as screenwriters. And so as you think about films that you're thinking about doing, what is something that you could write that maybe is a derivative of a different property? What is something that you could write that's similar to these types of movies? You know, is it an animation movie that you're thinking about? Is it a movie about dinosaurs? Is it a superhero movie? Is there something along those lines? Something that, as we approach next couple summers, what you could create? These are the type of movies that are released in the summers. What type of popcorn movie could you make? What type of action movie could you make? What type of movie with broad mass appeal could you make that would help this particular movie studio who buys your screenplay to vault into the top 10? Well, that's this week's analysis of the domestics box office. See you next week with another. We'll take a look and see if Lightyear is able to hold on to its second place, whether Top Gun Maverick will pop up, whether Jurassic World will fall out of the top spot, or what new release will come forward to break into the top 10. Well, until next week, live well and write well.